This is Capital T Truth. Here we expose the beliefs, patterns, and trauma loops that have kept you limited. I'm Larry Yatch, a former Navy SEAL officer and entrepreneur who learned the hard way that the strategies that create success can also quietly destroy the quality of your life. This work exists to expose that truth. If you're ready for freedom through alignment, you're in the right place. And so what's nuts about this is the kick in the stomach for a lot of parents. I always know this one hits hard. Parents that do that, right? Generally do it so that they can be important and valuable in their child's lives. So their personal need to perform for love, to be important and valuable in their child's life, steals their child's ambition, because it's important for me to make my child's life good. And to know that my selfish need for being important steals my child's ambition is like, that's a kick. Just from the parent perspective, if you have a child that you plays video games, eats Doritos, you make them milkshakes and meatloaf whenever they want it, and do their laundry, life's pretty good today. Yeah. Why would I want it to change? So we got to change that. Now, if we change that and all of a sudden they have to pay for internet and pay above market for rent and all that stuff, well, like, okay, today's starting to suck. But if they have no idea what the good tomorrow would look like, they're just going to stay in suffering. Yeah. And so you can live in dissatisfaction with the present and just stay there. And there's a lot of people that will just suffer in that and not go anywhere. And the biggest reasons they do that is they don't have any clue what a good tomorrow would look like. And so those three ingredients: dissatisfaction with today, clarity of the tomorrow I want, and perception of power that I can turn today into tomorrow. Without any one of those three, you can't have ambition. It's absolutely impossible.
So I know that when we speak about ambition and then the desire, there's always there's another component. Do you want to go into the formula?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't help it.
I know. Oh, I know. People need it. Yes.
So in this, we've identified ambition's desire for change, as well as accompanied by action, right? Or follow through by action for that change. And we've identified there's ways it can go wrong and ways it can be used in ways that are not useful based on the need for external validation or performing for love, coming from the wrong place. We also talked about where it's good for we don't necessarily need everyone to be high ambition, right? That, low ambition can be good, especially when you're putting together a whole team. So within that place, if I want to create ambition in my life or ambition in someone else's life, there's three parts to it. And if you're missing any one of these three parts, you can't have ambition. Okay. It's impossible to have ambition. And the first one is also the one that hurts parents the most. Yep. Is dissatisfaction with a present situation. So when you're looking at ambition, desire for change, if in the first step of it, you or the individual does not live in the experience of a dissatisfaction with today, and I'm very careful with my words. I can be dissatisfied with today, but not live in the experience of it. Right, that I can be like, oh, I don't like how much money I'm making today. Right. But if I don't experience the dissatisfaction of not having enough money, I'm not going to do anything about it. Right. And so it is not only that clarity of that dissatisfaction, what I don't like in my life today, but I have to experience it. There's a variation of that. Right, so you have dissatisfaction with the present, the experience of that. The second flavor of it is you can live in a world where today is pretty good, but you're very clear that the trajectory you're on is not going to be good, and that can be the same. Right, I can be like, well, today's not too bad, but if I keep doing what I'm doing today, if I keep being on the path that I'm on today, it's going to be really bad. That can be the very same. Right, so it's either clear dissatisfaction with my experiences today, or it could be this clarity that the trajectory I'm on is not going to be good. If you're satisfied with where you are today, you're not going to do anything about it, right? And that's, to me, where especially the conversation with parents, like you have the 27-year-old living in your basement, playing video games all day and eating Doritos. Shit, that's a pretty good life.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't mind that, right? I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to pay for anything. Mom does my laundry. I get to do, get groceries, all that stuff. Like, I don't have to worry about anything.
Right.
Why the hell would I want to change anything?
Yes.
Yeah. And so what's nuts about this is the kick in the stomach for a lot of parents. I always know this one hits hard. Parents that do that, right? Generally do it so that they can be important and valuable in their child's lives. So their personal need to perform for love, to be important and valuable in their child's life, steals their child's ambition, because it's important for me to make my child's life good. And to know that my selfish need for being important steals my child's ambition is like, that's a kick.
It is. I remember the very first time you told me that about a year ago, and I really didn't like you very much.
Yeah.
And I wanted to find all kinds of ways that was not true. And the more work I did inside, the more I even see it very highlighted. It is so true.
Yeah.
And that's just one example. And it's not even and sometimes it's not the performing for love, because I know we're going to talk about other areas as well. But it's something. It's something like, why are they still there?
Yeah.
That's a great question. Why are they still there?
Because
but the
I
dissatisfaction,
need them to be there.
I need them to be there.
I need them to be there so I can be important.
Right. But you will complain as the parent that they're still there
it.
all the time.
Hate it.
And you're like, I'm so dissatisfied. I'm so disappointed. I'm
They
so
don't do
this.
anything. I need them to
they're
be gone.
lazy. They need to be out of here. Yeah, you're like, honey, can I have your darks, please?
Mom, milkshake now. Okay.
This girl right here. But it's, you know why? It's because I love them so much, Layla. You don't understand. Like, they need me.
And then you add on top of that the guilt.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I screwed up when they were 12.
How did I mess this up?
I screwed up when they were 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
I wasn't present. I wasn't there. I worked too much. Oh, now I have to make it up for them. And all you're doing is stealing their ambition.
Yep, this is my fault.
Yeah, because they can't have ambition if they don't have dissatisfaction with their present situation.
So basically what I'm hearing is if you're in this position, make your lives, or make the children's lives very dissatisfying
like how
to live.
Your slip make your life up. No.
Whoops. Yeah, the slip, the sneaky. But yes, make their life so undesirable that then all of a sudden they get ambition.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it
hopefully.
It's step one, right?
Okay.
We got 2 more parts to this, but step one, if you don't have step one, you can't go anywhere. It's
so
funny.
we have to be so dissatisfied with right now in an area. Right?
You have to be experiencing dissatisfaction. If you don't,
like,
you're screwed.
almost to like a level of just disgust. Like,
well,
I am just so dissatisfied.
Well, again, think of ambition as in a light switch on off.
Okay.
It's a ramp, right?
Okay, good.
So the more that I'm dissatisfied with my current situation, the more ambition I can potentially have.
Right.
Right. If I'm just kind of dissatisfied, well, I might have a little ambition. So it's how much change do you want to see and how quick do you want to see it?
Right.
It's number of times I've had guys that wanted to be SEALs come and ask me if I would mentor them and help them. And I ask a couple questions because there's a couple things I'll ask ahead of time, and I'm like, nope, you're not going to make it. I'm not wasting my time. It's not even a chance you could possibly do it. But then if it do, I'm like, okay, so mentorship is going to look like me making your life miserable as much as I can to the highest level possible. Make you suffer as much as I possibly can every second I can. So if that's what you're looking for, like, maybe like we can do this. And what's funny is you always know at least there's a potential they might make it when they're like, yeah, hell yeah, that's exactly what I want. Torture me. When the other one's like, look at me a little funny, like, oh, no, you're out. No, you don't get to it. So, yeah, that foundation, right, of dissatisfaction with the present is the place. And being clear on that, and the expectations are what responsibilities are mine, what responsibilities are yours, and having that arrangement. Because if you've been covering all the responsibilities of your adult child, and then all of a sudden say no, it'd be a little confusing. And again, that's fine, but being clear on, I am no longer responsible for these things for you.
Right.
And if you don't, I have to be willing as a parent to see them suffer. And most of us will not allow our children to suffer in our presence. And if we do, you're right back to stealing their ambition, because they can't have ambition without dissatisfaction with the present.
This sounds like a big loop. It sounds like a big loop. So I have to be dissatisfied in an area of my life, right? That's step one. And I have to really be experiencing this. And not only that, but clearly say, if I continue these behaviors and I'm looking at the trajectory going forward, this is what my life is going to turn out to be.
That can add, like, again, that ambition curve going up, right? If I don't like today, and I see that if I keep doing what I'm doing, today is going to get worse and worse and worse.
Right.
The potential for ambition goes up, goes higher and higher. So that's the first one. The second one is clarity of the good future that I want. I always say clarity of the desired future, right? Like, if I live in today sucks, but I have no idea what I want tomorrow, I can't have ambition either.
Right.
And in those situations, if we just we'll stick with the same example of parent. We could talk about business. So, like, I think we should talk one of your distributors. Like, we can talk through the same example on the business side in a second. But just from the parent perspective, if you have a child that you plays video games, eats Doritos, you make them milkshakes and meatloaf whenever they want it, and do their laundry, life's pretty good today. Why would I want it to change? So we got to change that. Now, if we change that and all of a sudden they have to pay for internet and pay above market for rent and all that stuff, well, like, okay, today's starting to suck. But if they have no idea what the good tomorrow would look like, they're just going to stay in suffering.
Yeah.
And so you can live in dissatisfaction with the present and just stay there. And there's a lot of people that will just suffer in that and not go anywhere. And the biggest reasons they do that is they don't have any clue what a good tomorrow would look like.
That's where we hear, even some of my personal friends, something's got to change. Something's got to change. What's probably happening is they actually are pretty dissatisfied. They're totally not clear on what that future looks like. And sometimes people can't see it because they feel undeserving.
Or that it would be even possible for them, as you said.
They need to create a world in which there is suffering, and obviously we'll get into more of the trauma and the survivor strategies, but they have to create this world so that they feel safe in it. That's another episode, y'all. but the reality of it is just being able to do the work and be so clear, what does that future look like that you're desiring so much to be?
Yeah, and that's where, like, for my children who are currently 9 and 11, so they're younger, I feel like right now my job is to try to expose them to as much as possible to see what sparks that fire for some desire for the future. Right? The other thing that I do... Can
you give an example of that? When you say that you're trying to spark that, because there's probably a lot of parents that hear that and go, but how?
Yeah, well, like and not every parent could do this, but I mean, again, this wasn't that much. My youngest son has loved playing since he was a little kid. When little, I mean like 2, 3, 4. So for his 6th birthday, we got him a hour flight lesson to fly a Cessna, right? Now, many parents be like, I couldn't do that. It was like $170. Like, it wasn't a lot. My intent of doing that was to see if that continues to spark him, right? Because I want him to connect to, oh, there's a future where I could do this every day. Right? That's just connecting to some positive future, which I think has had some effect. Because, and what's interesting for him is my background with all the military, I couldn't comprehend not wanting to be a jet pilot. He has no a fighter jet pilot. Like, he doesn't want to be a fighter jet pilot. He wants to fly, maybe for Delta, but generally he wants to fly prop planes. Like, will he want us to do that for? I don't know, but he's got a future in his mind that is good, where he gets to fly these type of planes. And so that's a very real example of what I'm trying to do is find something that sparks their interest and give them a picture of what their life could look like in the future.
Right.
And so those would be the two pieces. Big piece, if you have an older child, right? And this would be an employee as well, right? This follows the same thing. One of the biggest things that people will connect to more than anything else when it comes to the future is what it feels like. So not necessarily what it looks like specifically, like what exactly planes are you flying, how are you flying them, what are you getting paid, all that stuff, but more of what do you feel in that future. We call that a desired end state. Helping your team member, your employee, your partner, your child really be able to verbalize what is it they feel and what is it they don't feel. Like, I don't want to experience this feeling. That's really how you, as someone trying to inspire ambition in yourself or another, the more you can verbalize those emotional experiences, the emotional state that you're in and the emotional states you're avoiding, that's really where you start to shape that second piece of the formula. The first piece being dissatisfaction with today, clarity for the future I want. Really what we're saying is, what do you want to feel and what don't you want to feel? Being able to put words to that, and it doesn't have to be a specific, is enough and ultimately the most powerful way to create that dissatisfaction today, that positive experience tomorrow, the clarity of it. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know how to get my kids to, or employee or team member or partner, I don't know what future they want. We don't really need to define exactly the future. We have to define, we have to have them connect to what they want to feel and what they don't want to feel.
Well, a good example of that too would be relationship, like a marriage or a partnership in life. So like what kind of example could you give there? Because you have plenty of clients that you talk to about relationships. So, and then more, but like in that sense, like, so that's something you've actually helped me with tremendously is, because if I've come from a relationship of years of performing and now stepping into my new life, not performing, I had to be very clear, and you helped me become very clear on
how
what
would
was
you define what emotional states do you want to produce in a romantic relationship? Not with a specific person, but in one. How would you define that?
So if I was saying emotional, I would just say, I just think peace. Like I literally think, honestly, it's almost like today, if I had to answer that question, I was like, I just want to be still and be very peaceful. Yeah. That's it. The end. And smile a lot. Happy, fulfilled, joy, freedom. That's it. That's all I want. I mean, I'm not asking a lot.
No.
Yeah.
Well, and is that within you with or without a person?
Either.
Yes, that's the
so
interesting
cool.
part.
The coolest part.
Because now you don't have to perform for it. You don't have to earn peace from another person because you can generate it yourself.
You asked me that question 8 months ago. I would have answered that totally different than today.
It's them. It's up to them to
It's up to them to help. But even in relationship, like if there is a partnership, like the two of you could also come up with this together.
And if you don't, because this is the key part with ambition, say you have two partners and one partner wants to produce peace and the other partner wants to produce a feeling of safety based on knowing that this other person is never going to hurt them. Okay, so we've got one that wants to experience peace. Yes. I just want, and from what I'm hearing you say, is not peace in that we aren't fighting, but peace in I get to be, just be still and experience presence, right? So you have one person that wants that, and the other person wants to feel safe to make sure that because this person will never hurt me. What's interesting about that is if their current situation alone is dissatisfactory, one person wants the future of safety through control is really what I'm saying, and the other one wants to just have independent peace that is experienced as a couple.
Right.
Are those pointing in the same direction? No, they're pointing in two different directions. So there is ambition on both sides, but the ambition's not going in the same direction. That's why that second piece of the formula, the clarity of the future that I want to experience, when we're now talking in community, as a couple, as a parent and a child, as a boss and someone working for me, or as team members, when we're talking about that, now I have to be careful that I'm creating ambition in the same direction, right? Like it's funny how these things on the surface, when people heard ambition, many people are like, I understand what ambition is. Like, think of how deep we've gotten already.
Right.
And then we just unveiled a whole nother layer of saying, oh, not only do I have to worry about making sure people are clear of their current situation, I have to get them connected to some future. If we're now coordinating in a partnership, a relationship, in a family, in a business, I have to be careful as to what future they want, because different futures provide the purpose and direction and can create different directions in it. Yeah. So it is important, like you said, not only to have clarity in a romantic relationship, what future we want to create, but then have it be, they nest. Like, they don't have to look exactly the same, but they have to be similar.
Right. No, that was really good. And so, okay, we have to be dissatisfied. We have to be clear on the desired future. And then
this is my favorite part.
There's another part.
Yeah, the last part,
Yes.
because I'm sure when I describe this, a lot of people are going to connect. Like, they're going to have name, like, oh, that's Bob, that's Barb. Like, we know these people. All they do is complain about today. And all they do is talk about the future they're going to have, right? But they take no action towards it.
My favorite people.
Oh, yeah. I cannot stand those people. I think you're being sarcastic, but
well, it gives us something to do. It gives us
something
hope.
to perform for.
Oh my gosh, Larry. Okay. Thank you for calling me out. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Complainers.
Yes.
But they're missing one of the most important pieces. So I don't like today. I'm clear on the tomorrow I want. I don't do anything. Why don't I do anything? Because I don't have a perception that I have the power to turn today into tomorrow, right? And so within that stuff, two key words, perception and power, right? So power, the fundamental distinction that I use for power, and we'll probably have a whole episode on this, is the ability to influence change. And so you can say, if ambition is the desire for change, ambition will always be unfulfilled without power. Power is the ability to influence it. So if I have desire with no ambition, I live in frustration, and that's where those people live, right? Today sucks, tomorrow's what I want, but I can't do anything about it because I don't have the power to influence the change that I need to create today into tomorrow. And then the key word, though, is power is the ability to influence change, but I didn't say the third ingredient was power. It is perception of power. That's what's crazy about this, is if I just perceive that I have the power, I can have ambition and I start to move, right? If I'm dissatisfied with today, I'm clear about the tomorrow I want, and I just think I can turn today into tomorrow, I start moving. And as soon as I start moving, my world starts to change, and it's going to move in the direction that I want. It might not go as fast as I want if I don't have the actual power. But once I understand that, or once I have that perception of it, I start moving. And so those three ingredients, dissatisfaction with today, clarity of the tomorrow I want, and perception of power that I can turn today into tomorrow, without any one of those three, you can't have ambition. It's absolutely impossible.
You have to have the whole formula. So in what example would you not have the perceived power?
Go into relationships.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do a couple of examples.
Every relationship I'm in, they cheat on me.
Okay.
Right? They always cheat on me. They always leave. I don't like someone being unfaithful. I want a future where I can feel, like you were saying, feel safe, that I'm not going to be betrayed, if you will. but I can't do anything about it. It's all on them. They're either going to cheat or they're not going to cheat. Like, I'm faithful all the time. And so I can sit there and have no ambition to have a good relationship because I know I can't, every person that shows up is going to cheat on me, and there's nothing I can do about it. Like, that would be a good example of, I don't want to be cheated on. I don't like the world where I'm abandoned, I'm cheated on, but I can't do anything about it. Now, is that true or not true?
Not true.
Good.
I was like, definitely not true. And then I'm looking in his eyes like, I got it right, coach?
Yeah, I mean, so even in that specific situation, right? Like, I can live in the complete perception that I have the power to influence if they cheat on me or not. But even in the fact, like, we'll get into the attachment pieces and stuff like that before, but if I just live in a world where I can't be hurt by them if they cheat on me or not, all of a sudden, I can have ambition for a good relationship.
For the good relationship.
And so that piece of perception of power to change, and that's where, if we go back to the kid, right? The kid stuck in playing video games. Okay, all of a sudden I make it so they're paying twice market rent. They have to pay for food. They have to do all the chores. Life sucks now at home. They've connected to, well, I would like it to where I'm independent, have my own apartment. I can have my friends over when I want. Okay, that's good. Perception of power, right? How would we build that perception of power? That always comes down to the formula of learn, practice, experience. So it's okay. What do you got to learn? What do you got to practice? What do we got to gain experience in? And in that, you create the perception of power to create change. And as a parent, I can do that. Now, if you're dealing with a 28-year-old, that gets harder because we should have done, not should have, quote unquote, done that a long time ago. Right. And so part of what I work on with my boys is that, like, the good life that they experience is based on my ambition, not theirs. And so if they want to have this same type of good life, well, they're going to need ambition. But I have no connection to if they have ambition or not. They may choose not to. But if they choose to have no ambition, they're not going to experience the good things. I'm not providing them for them. Which will then either create ambition or not. And my job now, I believe, especially the ages that they're in, is to constantly try to create that clear future they want, right? Give them opportunities to find it. I can't create it for them. I create the opportunities for them to find it. And then how do I give them as much power as possible? How do I build as much power to create change?
How do I give them as much power as possible for them to create the ability to change?
How do I give them tools like understanding ambition? Or, like, a big one we'll talk about at some point is responsibility. Like,
I appreciate that. I appreciate that you said that, because a lot of people would think, well, they're set in their ways. They're a 20-whatever-year-old child. They're just behaving this way, and now you're feeling as a parent, oh, I've kind of conditioned them to be that way. So now you're taking on the responsibility, but we have the opportunity here as a parent to pass on some responsibility, give them some weight, give them a little bit more weight to carry and show that they can do it. And then that builds their confidence and support them through that. And so,
as long as they are exhibiting ambition. If they're not exhibiting ambition, then they will never choose to hold a responsibility. And if they don't choose to hold a responsibility, they won't self-regulate to do it, and they won't produce success. And then there's back to the ambition.
And in this scenario itself, with the child at home, it would be, as the parent, I am going to choose to create a little bit of dissatisfaction of their present state. So what you're saying is there's hope for me, Larry.
We're doing pretty damn good, I think.
We are doing great. No, we're doing fantastic. I would like, before we end, I would love to give an example, because there's going to be some people here that they'll say, oh, well, I don't have the power. And it's not the power, it's the perception of power. So are there any examples at all? Because when I'm looking at this and I'm hearing it, I'm like, okay, well then this is available to everybody in all circumstances? Or is there some circumstances that they literally do not have the perceived power?
Well,
would there be any circumstances that could be true?
Let me think of a good example. For me, my current situation in life, right? 49, about to be 50, 17 surgeries put back together, 6'3", 210 pounds. If I had ambition to be a world-class gymnast, that's never going to happen.
Okay.
I could create that ambition, right? Where I'm dissatisfied with not being a world-class gymnast. I have a clarity that I'm going to get the gold in wherever.
Right.
It's going to be in 4 years. And I could start building the perception of power that I could do that by starting gymnastics lessons, going every day. And guess what will happen is I'll move towards that. Will I ever get there? No, I'm too big. I'm too old. I'm too broken. It's not going to happen, right? That will result in unfulfilled ambition. But what's crazy about that is because I have the 3 parts, dissatisfaction, clarity of the future, perception of power, and actual power, I'm creating more power to do it, my life will still move in that direction. That's the cool thing about ambition. Ambition with the 3 parts will change your world towards that. Will I get there? It depends. Can I produce enough power to meet my ambition? And the answer is no, because I'm too big, I'm too old, I'm too broken, right? So what's nuts about that is more ambition than power, I won't meet it, but guess what? I'm still moving in that direction, right? Less ambition, more power. That's like where you have the 28-year-old not doing anything in the thing. Like they actually have the power to be independent, but their ambition doesn't match it. And what's crazy is ambition with not enough power, I get frustrated. I'm not the Olympic champion. More power than ambition, you get frustrated because they're not where they should be. Right. So it's frustration, but which direction? External, internal.
So it sounds like there's more opportunities that we do have.
We have opportunity to I believe that every person has opportunity to create change in any aspect of their life at any point in time. Are we going to get to where you want to go? It depends on what your ambition is and what your desired end state is. But I don't think there's anything in our lives that we can't create ambition for. And as soon as we create ambition, we start creating movement, just like my gymnastic example.
And I agree with that.
And it's the same. So we talk about it for ourselves. How do we do it for ourselves? Live in my dissatisfaction, accept it, look at my trajectory to clarify the future I want to create. Specifically, what do I want to feel? What don't I want to feel? And then build power. How do I build power? Learn, practice, experience, right? How do I do this for someone else? Same thing. How do I create experience of dissatisfaction? How do I get them to connect to the future they want? And then what perception of power do I have to help them into? And how do I help them into it is learn, practice, experience to build confidence.
Build the power. I like that.
Ambition.
Yeah.
So in the end, we hit the definition of it, right? The distinction, ambition is desire for change, coupled with movement, right? The parts to it, right? It isn't good or bad. It can come from an ineffective place, like external validation or performing for love. We need low ambition, high ambition people on a team. There's really no judgment in it. I look at it as a tool, not a trait or a way to go. And then how do we build it? We build it through dissatisfaction with our present situation, clarity of the future we want to create, and having a perception of power to do it, power being the ability to influence change. The best state is when my power and my ambition, if I was to say optimal state is my ambition is just above my power, right? When it's just above my power, I'm not quite able to produce the exact change, because as soon as my power meets my ambition, I no longer have ambition because I've created it. I've created the situation. So I like to keep my ambition just slightly above my power. If my ambition is way above my power, I'll eventually create frustration. Right. If my power is way above my ambition, oftentimes I create frustration around me. And so now with those tools, we can, as we both agree, you all can create change in any aspect of your life or the life of another, depending on leveraging these formulas.
I'm excited.
So that is ambition in great depth. And as you heard in this, we brought up a bunch of other topics, right? We talked about external validation, performing for love, conditional love, responsibility, success, self-regulation. And a lot of these topics are either topics that we've already covered, and if we have in the notes, we'll kind of connect you back to, hey, go listen to the self-regulation or the success podcast. And if not, there'll be topics we'll be covering in the future. So join us again. We'll look forward to diving into our next topic. Thanks for listening to Capital T Truth. Subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode. As you know, the work doesn't stop when the episode ends. For more, visit the website at capitalttruth.org to submit a question to be answered live on a future podcast. We also invite listeners onto the podcast to work directly with me, where we dive into your personal strategies of survival and we solve them live. Until next time, live in Capital T Truth.